everyone, my name is Rob. I'm with PGH Overlanding and you're on the channel. Today we're going to install a Hooke Road aftermarket off-road bumper along with an open road winch. I purchased this bumper roughly 2 months ago. I had purchased the winch right around Christmas time. Now this is a 275 amp cutoff switch. Basically, this goes to your battery terminal. From your battery terminal, connect one side, and then the power from the winch gets hooked up to this side. This gets mounted, has a backing with some screws. So this gets screwed in under the hood somewhere close to the battery, probably on the side, and therefore, when you're not using the winch, you should see that in that position right there. And then I believe when you turn it to the right, that's the go. That's feeding power through it to your winch. Definitely get one of these because you don't want power going through your winch 24/7. It's just not a good idea. So now I'm going to take a look. We have the open road instruction manual. Basically, we have the 13.5. Here's all your operating instruction indexing. And then we have operation warning, your safety precautions, winch operation. And then there's a couple diagrams. This did come with two remote controls and one manual controller that you can plug in. This is pretty much the remote control. Has an out and an in button. Hold this down for a couple seconds. The light turns on. It means you're ready. So you get two of these. There's one, and here's two of them. This is your manual controller. And like I said, this right here still have the same. It's a an in and out direction. So this right here would plug, pull this out, and I'm just looking because there's a certain way you got to plug it in. Now my manual controller, where I plug it in, is going to be right here. So I can either go up under here or just go, I put it right here so I could just connect it. It'd be simple. Okay, there's a cap here, a plug that goes over top of it. It's right near the pod lights on the left side of the bumper. There's a space right here, but there's no way you're going to be able to, even if you turn it around, then you're going to be facing the motor part right here of the winch will be in the way. And get you an aerial view here. So pretty much the way I have this set up is, I think, the best setup for this bumper right now. There's a little, let me see if you can see it. There's a little slot right there. A little slot on this. So basically you have to line up, and it's right on the side there, and you can just line that up And now that's fully connected, ready to go.
If you haven't subscribed to our channel, all you have to do is subscribe. I'll do daily videos, how-to videos, camp, trail, you name it. We'll go through it all. We'll do it all. We're riding one trail at a time, So what I'm doing is I'm building my rig so that it's self-sufficient out in the field, which is overlanding. And I like to take this thing wherever I could go and just say if something would happen, you know, I'm set for 2 or 3 weeks.
So it gives you a parts diagram drawing in case you have to order some parts from them. So the original package when I ordered it, it came with the winch, 13.5, 2 controllers, a sticker, the hat, the bolts, mounting bolts, and the manual controller. And also you get a rope with it, just a little pull rope. And later on, we're gonna test this out. We're gonna go out on a trail, and I'm gonna take some of my recovery gear with me, and we're gonna winch up to a tree, and we're just gonna see how this winch works. The weather's warming up right now, so I'm getting ready to take this bumper off. The best way to do this is I always turn the wheel in, because then you can access those screws. I only have to take maybe up to here. I wouldn't recommend using a drill on this. I just use a socket, T10. And pretty much come right out. I took a couple screws out and I'm going to be folding that back. If you can see in there, so I have to reach in there, right there, center screen. That is the fog light. I have to unplug those. And if you look in here, there was a screw here, over here that mounts to this one bracket that comes down. Like I said, I did this, undid the fog light. Now this honeycomb thing just pulls right out. It looks like there's a little present in there, probably from a trail ride. Kind of acorn. I'm going to continue doing the same thing on the other side and get the other side all undone. Neat. I'm undoing these here. A couple, can't see. So right here, undoing these. There's 3 of them over here. These are those T10s. Here's my LED light bar. I just took the screws out of this, each side, so I can move this out of the way. I'm just gonna prop this up on a stand out of the way. Now, there's 2, trying to look up in there. See these holes up here, right here? Okay, there's one here, and there's one on this side, right there. Those are 10mm screws. You might need an extension. I used an extension to get up in there to get them out. I got these screws out. I have to undo this line that I had here. This is the LED 32-inch light bar in the front. So I'm going to undo this right here, take these wires out, pull this whole thing through, and then down here my light bar should pull out, and I'll have these brackets to have to remove also. This hex to 3/8, that has to come out. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And that one back in the back there, that's very hard to get to. I kind of removed it just with my finger. Getting ready to remove the bumper. Pull these sides down first. Just gotta come in the middle. You just gotta pull. Completely off. Now that I got the bumper removed, over here there is some tow hooks that need removed. There's 2 of them here to take the tow hook out. There's some kind of rubber foam. There's 2 18mm bolts that are holding this together. So what I'm doing is using a socket on one end and my impact on the other. That's done. Press these out. Remove the crash bar. There's 2 15mm bolts. Bolts on the upper sides also. 2 bolts. There's 2 more bolts on the top, 1 on each side. All right, there's 3 of these. You might want to get yourself one of these little pry bar. I'm gonna pry these out. 2, 3, and then I think there's like these clips here, but you gotta manhandle this. Pull this thing out hard. It's clipped in there. This has to be removed. Put your pry bar back in through there. Behind it, just pop it. It'll pop out. Operate it. I have the bumper off, and it's sitting on 2 storage bins, and then I have a bin over here. So I'm getting ready to mark that line with a marker to cut it. I have 2 pieces of tape, one on the bottom of the line, one on the top. I'm marking in between. I marked it in between the 2 pieces of tape that I taped. I just put a black line so I can see when I'm cutting out. I'm going across here, all the way over to the other side. Make sure you're wearing safety glasses. I'm wearing my eyeglasses and mask. So what I decided to do was take my air tool and I cut into the front. I'm going to go that way and from the center, and I'm also going to cut that way. I decided to use my cutoff tool with a nice blade on it, new blade. So let's give it a try. The blade will automatically heat up the plastic and kind of melts it. I moved the bin. I have a drop cloth on it. I moved that from that side over here to support this side. And also, like I said, I have that, this is all sitting on 2 bins. So when this thing actually comes apart, it's not going to go one way or the other. It's going to stay in this position. Separate it. Most of these little plastic kind of hang on the edge there, like here. Let's peel these off. So I'm going to grind this down. There's a piece I missed right here, and a piece on that side. All right, now it's separation time. So we're going to take the good side that we're going to keep, which is this side. I'm going to place this over here out of the way. I'm looking on the other side. Okay, this is the good piece, and a little burying through here. There's some plastic right here. It needs pulled off or cut off. Pull it off right here. I think I'm going to take my sander and go across here. Get all these burrs off. and I'll remove that tape. I also took off the, while I had an opportunity, while I had the grill off, I took off the emblem and I redid that. Should look pretty cool. First, I'm going to remove this tape. All right, this is the point where I think I want to be on this side, yeah. I wanted to show everyone why you cannot remove this bumper or this grill without removing the whole bumper. So you see these little clips here? There's no way you're gonna get all these little clips out because you'd have to like bend this forward and reach down in there, and it's impossible because there's clips here. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There's a lot of clips, man. I'm just saying. So one thing I wanted to point out real quick. I cut this off, this line right here, coming up here. But then when I got to here, I didn't go down far on the blade. I'm glad I didn't. See, there's a little lip right there with, you can actually put a screw in here. I'm going to be using 120 grit sandpaper. And I'm just going to start down here and start filing it that sand inside here, get all the burrs off. This piece right here I was telling you about, there's a little lip right in here. I'm just going to cut that off even across there. I'm going to do the other side. They give you this rubber trim piece that goes on the part you cut that we're keeping, and then that's going to sit down literally, I would imagine, over top of the bumper, but there shouldn't be any gaps, and that's the hard part, is trying to get all this cut straight, knowing where the corners are at the end. So let's start installing this. Let's get this installed, and then we'll go from there. I'm still working this piece over. It takes a little time. You just gotta maybe like 1 inch at a time. Till you get the whole way down to the end of this one, and then you can cut the excess off. And that's one of the reasons why you want to cut those burrs off, because when you shove this on, you got all that stuff there, it's going to be harder to put this on, so it makes it easier. That's why I sanded it. Here's a little sneak peek of what I'm doing to my emblem. It's not finished yet. And with the bottom rubber trim piece on, it's finished. Here is the Hooke Road Make a Difference front bumper instructions. Here's the parts. You get your 2 wings, the main body, the bull bar, the side plate, the winch, power control box bracket, and you also get a license plate bracket for those states that require you to have a license plate in the front. We're in Pennsylvania, so we don't have that law. I'm gonna turn the page right here. So these are the instructions for cutting the bumper, which it's telling you that line right there. And they give you pretty good illustrations and some diagrams. So the next one we have here is basically taping up where your existing bumper is as you were cutting it off, which I already kind of went over that. showing you the mounting. There's 2 spots on the frame where it gets attached to. And as far as putting it together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's like 5 bolts, nuts, and washers. Standard, pretty basic. And then here's your bull bar here. Bull bar going across. And like I said, this is a flip up. In fact, I have that right here because I didn't install it. But I do have, I think I'm going to use this for something else. I have an idea because it flips up. So I might be attaching this to the back, putting a light on it. Whenever I'm using the lights or need the light, I can kind of flip it up. If I'm not using it, just flip it back. I'll figure it out. Here's the bracket. If you're not putting it outside of the bumper, if you're putting it inside of the bumper, the winch, you're gonna probably have to remove the solenoid, the control box on top. So here they give you the brackets, and you can, basically there's different areas in here that you can attach this. I believe mine, I attached it like that. And then they're telling you there's these little, I don't know if you want to call them, like they're some kind of flat washer here. Make sure you put those on also. Okay. It's pretty simple. It's really simple. I put the whole thing together first, and then after I put it together, I set it up on a crate, and I worked off the crate. You're not going to install this. You're not going to be installing this skid plate to the very, very end. So yes, I am going to dry fit, see how things work out, see how my alignment is. This crash sensor right here. So what I had to do, because it was mounted right there, down far, but the winch is in the way. So there's enough wire here. I'm gonna move it up. So what I did was I drilled a hole in the bracket itself. It's plastic. I'm gonna put a T10 through there. And I also drilled another hole right above it, right there, a little small hole. And that's what I'm gonna attach this to, right here, like that. Should still function. I have that sensor hooked up, and what I did was put the T10 screw in, drill a hole into this. This is just plastic. And then what I did is I took a zip tie, and I zip tied it back away right here, so there's plenty of space. It's not hitting or touching the winch. And so one thing I want to point out is I had put these this bar on, and you want to keep that off until you are ready to put the bumper on, because, or the grill, because it will definitely be in the way, and you can't squeeze the thing down through because the bar is in the way. So I removed those. There's like 4 bolts on there on each side. I removed those. Now I'm getting ready to probably just test fit this, see how it looks, see how it fits. Those pod lights. Here's the wire for the pod light. And what I did, I took the factory fog light, I cut that clamp off. Now I'm down to bare wires. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these wires together, and then I'm gonna just use my button inside the factory fog light button, and when I push that button on, these fog lights should go on. I have both pod lights hooked up back behind the bumper. So I have the wire coming in, put it in loom tubing. I have it coming up. Here's where I splice it together. I use a bigger loom tubing here, 7/8 to wrap that piece in there because I couldn't fit it in this little 3/8 loom tubing. And then I zip tied it back here. I use these connectors right here, okay? One side goes in this side, one side over here. And then the blue, you crimp it. And that way, if you ever want to like change your lights out, you just untape it, pull it apart. It's simple. Okay, I have everything wired up. I pulled that out. I still have to put the skid plates on. What I did was I wired this up, this box, put in a bracket right here, screwed it into the sides, and then I ran my power over, up under into the battery. Alright, so I'm going to turn my switch on. I'm going to grab the remote, hit that button right there. It's active. Grab a hold of this here, and we're going to go out. And we're going to go back in. So everything's hooked up right. I have power going to it. It's actually working fine. I'm using the remote. I already tested the manual. Good to go.